Hello everybody. Here's a nice rundown at level 30 of the character that I've been playing now for a little bit. I think I stayed up here uh, a little bit more than often, trying to get through racial TRs. Um, Open up character sheet. It shows geez, what am I? An elf? Uh, Warlock 12, Wizard 5, Sorcerer 3. And I was building this character build on Elf because I had to do the life of Elf, even though it doesn't get any relevant bonuses uh, for what I was doing. So then, I had this little epiphany. I go, well, I could probably do this build on on all the rest of the racial lives if I needed to. But, I still had fun on this. Like it still works uh at maybe Reaper 1 it still works like if somebody was going to go roll the toon tomorrow morning and just go do it on I don't know first or second life, you still have an opportunity to pop some really big numbers on it. But it would need a tank, it would need a healer, and everything else. Play as a team. Now, in terms of numbers that are generated from characters like this, it's all sort of it's based on the number of casts that you do in relation to the 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 amount or chances to proc big hits. So you have to be a caster that's quick and not indecisive about your casting in any way. You're casting all the time, knowing that you're going to get X amount of damage in return from that if you do not outright kill a mob. So it's a style that I like to play, but even as my main character, uh, it sort of it sort of is a problem on high Reaper difficulties because you get so much aggro involved with that casting style or hit point snowplow style. Now, in previous videos, I went over uh, the the caster increments for going through raw hit point numbers. Like you're not really relying on any of the insta kills or anything like that. You are relying on just getting that base damage amount uh, as high as you can so that the mob is taking so much damage per second, and then you're working through that hit point total, whatever it is 1 million, 10,000, 13,000, whatever it is. You're going for just huge amounts of type damage as fast as you can. Okay? Like right. Conversely, Instakiller, Spect, Undead with Finger of Death, or even a gnome with uh, what is that? PK, Phantasmal Killer, will will just kill it outright. So I'm on the outside of that spectrum. I will go through all of the reasoning and the totals then, according to that plan on this build. So strength is pretty much a dump stat. Dex, you start at a base 10. This is what it says. I don't even know if I even put any points into it or not, if it was starting at 8 for Elf. Constitution was a base 16. That is their maximum starting point. So you're always going to be a little bit down on hit points. Great. Um, Intel, I believe I started at 12. The Wizard or Wisdom was a dump at 8. Charisma was a max. Charisma is where I put all my points into this, knowing that Warlock was the primary, which is Charisma is their stat, and then Sorcerer was also like a what I would call a tertiary. Only took 3 levels of it uh, to their primary stat is Charisma as well. The Wizard, it's I think of it as the primary stat being intelligence. So that's probably why the reason is that I started that with the rest of my points here on this particular build. Showing positive heal lamp at only 40. I don't really have the gear for those things. Uh, but I'm not so concerned about that all the time. Spell powers, standing with gear, uh, and no buffs or clickies is showing 1083 in acid. And the other primary one here would be force at 626. Light is also somewhat relative if I decide to change over to evil damage. It's only at 493 though. So it's not something I do all the time. Criticals, spell critical chance is acids at 64. Force is only down to 29 and light is only down to 15. So my primary damage type is acid all the way. Like how an acid sorc would be spec'd, or what you would do. Spell critical multiplier base is sitting at 130 without clickies or other enhancements. Uh, Character sheet. What do we do next? What somebody wants to look at spells? I will look at spells. The spells for the sorcerer are minimal. We only have 3 levels of this class build in here. So I took a bunch of Joker spells here at the end. Detect Secret Doors, Expeditious Retreat, Merfolk's Blessing, and a Sonic Blast, which I don't even have loaded here. Like, it's so useless. It's not useless in terms of, doing cool stuff like blowing up a bunch of barrels or something, but it is pretty useless on this build to go into that field of play because of what I have aligned, in my opinion. Level 1, level 2, and level 3 wizard spells are the acid stuff. I have Caustic Bolt, yeah, a Tumble, which is pretty much useless too for me, a Jump, Acid Spray. Level 2 is Glitter Dust for whatever reason, Ooze Puppet, and Melf's Acid Arrow. Uh, Oops, that was level 2. Level 3 is Acid Blast and Displacement. The Warlock, where you're primarily set up for being for casting, just their blasts and stuff like that. I took the primaries here. Everd's Black Tentacles, Death Ward, PK, Innervation, Didor, and Crushing Despair. The standards for level 2 as Warlock, yes, we're going to take that web. Knock, whatever, Invis, Blur, and then back to level 1 again. A bunch of spells that don't match the other two uh, types here. No. If we go back to stats, you have to keep in mind that this character breakdown here has two different primary stats for its damage types. Like the sorcerer spells are based on the charisma. The warlock spells are based on the charisma at 30 right here. The wizard 5 is based on intel for its save type per spell and level. So I only took this wizard stuff here just to go do force clickies as an alternative to, you know, acid type of spells. And in relation to the class breakdown, you don't get that many acid spells. Like if you were full on sorcerer, you would gain a lot more acid based spell types or spells that are along those lines that do an incredible amount more damage. And they're higher level. If you go up to like 18, you can get, at least level 8 spells base, which is 3 spells higher than what the Warlock can even do in terms of the spell level overall. So I had to pick and choose if I was going to do an acid base Warlock and rely on its base, Eldritch Blasting as acid and force as its primary damage type. Then I only got, yay so many spells. I got an Acid Blast, a Melf's Acid Arrow, the Caustic Bolt, and Acid Spray, even though they're relatively lower than what a true sorcerer would do. But on the other side of that, I had spec this to be um, an extreme, an extreme sort of um, damage dealer if I got spell crit hits. So I did take the fifth tier in Archmage because of the chance for arcane supremacy. And again, I've gone through this build before on in different versions in different elemental types, but it has the highest potential to get ginormous hits, ginormous critical spell hits. So, waiting for arcane supremacy to trigger, it puts me up to the 250% range with my added bonuses on spell critical multiplier. And the damage is very substantial even with those lower level spells. I mean, it's been nuts. It's it's the reason why I like playing this build. Uh I mean, it doesn't always, like, you're never always going to be able to kill something that's chasing you or whatever. But you have the potential when it does go off to do some of the highest damages in the game for your specific spell types. So I added this fifth tier on Arcane Mage. You can see how it's all broken down. The three levels of Earth Savant are only to raise the caster level of the acid spells and a little bit of extra, acid spell power. What's this goofy thing over here? Whenever you cast a acid damage spell, you gain +5 to your acid spell power for 6 seconds. Yeah, that's like like if you're running an Earth Savant, that's got to be a given if you ran that as a pure class. So all it does is just help out my acid damage on that end. And sorcerer spells cast quicker than the other classes. So that's why I did this. Next, the Tainted Scholars tree dumped 28 points into it. And this is just for your pact. Your pact damage with your Eldritch Blast. And for a couple of other things, the Innervating Shadow, uh, the Eldritch, the Faltering Blast, Utter Dark Blast, and Chain if you want to use it. It's very dangerous, but you can use it. And then on the bottom, gaining the fourth tier to 20% spell critical damage all the time, which I think is actually stacking with the first earlier tier at 10, so it's 30%. And then what did I do over here? I only gained some things in here. I might actually rework this tree because I don't, you know, +2 to universal spell power, but oh well, guess what? When you're over 1,000, 2 doesn't make a difference. You gain 3 melee and range power and +6 universal spell power for hungry for destruction. Yeah. Uh, this I like. Taint the Blood on the first tier of Soul Eater. Um, Your Eldritch Blast melee and range attacks reduce the fortitude save throw of the target by -1 for 6 seconds. Like, this works in conjunction so much with other insta-kill casters that you're playing with. This helps Finger of Death for a wizard or anybody. A fortitude save. It's lowering it every time I go and do damage. Stacks up to 4 times. The other 2 tiers that I took down here, I just did it just so that I could burn the points. Universal spell power +5 per core ability. Um, over in the elf tree, I just worked it up as high to nothing is hidden. I have points now there to burn. I did take arcane fluidity. I could move over to a heavier armor type and not get arcane spell failure. I should just dump those points over there and get Arcanum over here to give me some more spell points and stuff. Arcanum's nice for the elf. One of my favorite things right there. And that's the breakdown. We got 7, 38, 28, 7, and 6. 87 total points available because of past life. Right. Keep on rolling. Epic Destinies. I'm in Draconic. Acid. Dragon Breath. The flyby attack. The swirl effect. Energy Vortex. Uh, energy Burst. Go out with a bang. And I have Energy Sheath electrical loaded here temporarily. The breakdown looks like this. In terms of Twist of Fate, Sigil of Battering Spellcraft. Uh, that's from Magister, 4th tier. Actually went into Sharadi for 2 of them. I took Rainbow. This is a 3rd tier. It's a 7% chance to deal. What does that say? Deal 1d100 extra damage of a random type. And then it says this damage scales with 200% range power. Like, I just did this to just add whatever crazy effects that were going in. Prism. Again, another Sharadi range stance. Another 7% to deal 2d10 damage to a random ability score. Like, I've seen it do strength, con, wisdom, everything when I cast. Endless Faith. This is from Exalted Angel. This gives you more spell points and fast healing on tier 1. Fast healing is from Fury of the Wild, 1st tier. And that's it. That's the breakdown on all of that kind of crazy stuff. Gear. Gear in inventory. Again, wearing 5 pieces of the Ender set. up here at the top. The con item is the Echo of Ravenkind with an Insightful Charisma +2 slotted and a Sapphire Resistance. We only care about the Constitution 20 there, mostly. Um, it's the thing that gives you a bunch of hit points. Standing at 1678, if I cast a spell on myself, I get the bonus of my added 70 hit points. I think goes to 1748. Uh, I am using the stolen signet of Ilwernum. Hope I pronounced that right. Don't want to offend anybody. With some slotted things, Insightful Constitution, Crushing Waveguard, and Diamond of Vitality 20. I moved away from wearing uh, sets, two sets at once, because I can't do it. I'm actually wearing an older, what I would call older set. It's the Beacon of Magic set from Barovia as my one sort of set. I think this. I think I could go and try to work something out with the newer gear in Sharn, but I didn't want to waste the time. I was having so much fun with this one. It's giving you 10% exceptional bonus to universal spell lore. Uh, and 20 exceptional bonus to universal spell power. Now, that helps, just all of the ability sort of to have a chance at critical hits with spells. Also, the whole set as a combine is giving you another 50 to universal spell power, +2 to your spell DCs. Um, yeah, I knew that. I guess as a sort of primary focus, you have to be able to hit crits. I mean, Acid's at 64% chance on any of its crits. It works with Eldritch Blast. And then once that crit is established, your spell critical multiplier is what multiplies the damage. So, I prefer this set right now. It's the only thing that works with the gear, as well as one of the items, the belt is adding a stacking 200 and 2 uh, bonus to that spell power. So something, a little off the radar now with the new gear, but it's still relevant in terms of boosting your main spell power type elemental up to where it should be. You got to get over 1,000. That's the goal. So there you go. Also, wearing legendary stone shoes from Sharn, which help us acid spell power a great deal. These are hilariously funny when you're trying to swim through lava or trying to fly on a sky sled. They all count as water to the game, so you won't be able to do it. You have to unequip this to go do those things. They're heavy. Then the main item is the legendary creeping dust conduit for your main sort of spell power and critical chance multiplier. This is for cold and acid, found in shard. I did not go into a orb and whatever primary weapon sort of arrangement on this because I feel like these quarterstaffs are specifically geared to be in damage output quarterstaffs in the game right now at high level. Unless you're like, well, even if you are a monk that's using them for melee, they're pretty devastating um, in terms of what they can do. On the next sort of build, I think next life, I don't even know what race I was going to, but I was headed again towards to using the staff of iron from the killing time raid and building a light and fire spec healer. Now, this particular quarterstaff also has bonuses that are in relation to uh, divine types and their abilities. It's just so locked into being specific, and it has a lower minimum level range, lowering it down to 28 for it. Like it's almost promoting favored soul or uh, begging favored soul or cleric to go use it, in my opinion. And what I like about this is that everybody and their dog knows that light damage usually works on everything. It works on everything. But then with those two tie-ins, I think I was going to make a mutt build that would be able to use both of the bonuses from this. One of them is Iron's Might. Uh, and it's like if quarterstaffs are your favorite weapon, whenever you turn undead, you become favored by Iron. And then it gives a bonus. So you have to be on a character that can turn undead to use it in that manner. And then Defy Focus um, always works, no matter what your class is. On spellcast, it's a +1 sacred bonus to DC of that school for 5 seconds. So, like, if you cast an evocation, then you're gonna get that bonus for 5 seconds, and you could stack it if you kept doing evocation. Okay. The other thing was Iron's Fury, and then this says the holy weapon is attuned uh, to protective radiant light. If quarterstaffs are your favorite weapon, while you are projecting an aura menace, you can absorb 10 spells per rest. But aura menace is from favored soul. So then it's like they made this universal weapon here that didn't mix all the classes together uh, for it to get all of its abilities going. I'm gonna go mix all the casters available for that weapon and go do that a light damage sort of character. It's very interesting to me. It sounds crazy. It's got a bunch of slots in it. Damn. Probably won't get your spell powers as high though. That's what the problem is. And then On my bio, I did post the highest crit that I did nail. It's right here. This is hitting the Codex of Infinite Planes for 96,206 points of acid damage. Uh, this is in the Shroud on Legendary Elite the other night. This is like 2 nights ago. Meaning everything is wound out. What's more typical is 40,000. If I don't hit Wellspring of Power in Draconic Fury, it's around 40. It's 46, 39. So that's what I like. I like that opportunity to go pound extreme damage out of it. Feats look like this. As a quick final rundown. Epic feats. I didn't even take Hellball. I took Epic Arcane Blast for that particular tier. I took Epic Spell Power Acid, Epic Spell Power Force, my two primary damage types. Sciana the Plane of Fire. Epic Defensive Fighting does not matter for me. I get nothing from it. Master of Knowledge, Wellspring of Power, Intensify. Up here at this big epic level. Past lives do not matter. Special feats do not matter. Meta magics were Empower, Enlarge, Heighten, Maximize, and Quicken. Some special feats might have been. See, look, I didn't even dump up magical training. See that? I don't even have that high. Don't really need it because you could keep casting with your warlock abilities. Like, it's easy. It's easy to make it through quests with that many spell points. Uh, Blessings of the Feather. Yeah, who cares about that? Defensive feat. Basic feats, maybe? See if I got anything else in here. Heroic durability. Nope. Force of personality. I did take. Add your charisma modifier to your will saves instead of your wisdom modifier. So we'll go back to look at saves. Will saves are up to 77. Reflex 44. Fortitude 62. There you go. AC 110. Who cares? Who cares? 11% to dodge. Defense chance at level 61. I don't even care. I will look quickly at the big plus. The big plus that shows all of your things. Effective hit points 3,619. Incorporeality 0. Concealment 25. You usually cast Blur? Why does that not work? It doesn't even show that. Who cares? Um, Save versus spells traps. Yep, don't care. Elemental defenses. I do care about. Acid 114, electrical 109, fire 109. Negative resistance 25. We are living. It's important. So yeah, I could take a lot of damage from those types. Cold 47. Not so good. Sonic 47. Not so good. Spell threat multiplier minus 41%. Spell penetration bonuses are low. We don't care about DCs and holding. We only care about raw numbers. Big fat raw numbers. and little tiny bits in between. Sneak attack, don't care. And there you go. That's the rundown on this one of the more fun characters that I played. I think DCs are not that high in comparison to what you wanted to do as a crowd control caster, but it doesn't matter. It's not your job. Your job is to go out and do breath attacks and whatever else, acid and force, and keep doing DPS. Web save is at 71 on Conjuration. Uh, Tentacles, don't know what it's coming. It's probably around that range. Something I use quite a bit. What's awesome is the breath weapon attacks from the draconic are way higher, like 90 on reflex. 90 for energy burst, 90 for energy vortex. These other ones, the save 59, which means it'd be a save for half damage, like the acid spray. Uh, Caustic bolt does not show a save. They're probably around 60. Acid blast showing at 58 reflex. The rest of these magic missiles and stuff from the wizard tree that are super cheap to cast, they don't have a save on that. You're gonna hit with the target. You're gonna hit for multiple magic missiles and force bursts throughout. There's no save on the thing. So that's what I rely on. Being able to cast a lot and just work on DPS numbers. Anyway, good night all. Thanks for the rundown.